The streetlights flickered to life as dusk settled over the city, their orange glow reflecting off puddles from an afternoon shower that left the pavement slick and shimmering. He stepped out of the taxi, the door closing with a solid thunk behind him, and adjusted his collar against the chill breeze carrying the faint scent of wet asphalt and distant food cars sizzling with spices. Inside the gallery, the hum of conversations blended with a soft clink of wine glasses, the air thick with the aroma of polished wood floors and fresh paint on canvases lining the walls. She stood near a massive abstract piece, swirls of crimson and indigo clashing in chaotic harmony, her dress hugging her frame in a way that caught the light just right. He approached, words flowing smooth as the jazz quartet in the corner strummed a low melody, but her response came sharp, a polite but firm deflection, her eyes darting away to scan the room as if searching for an exit from the moment. The contradiction struck like a mismatched note in the music. Her body language said no, but her fingers tightened slightly on her glass, the stem twisting in her grip, betraying a flicker of something unresolved. He didn't press, didn't linger. Instead, he offered a nod, a half smile that held no bitterness, and turned toward another painting, one depicting a stormy sea where waves crashed with furious energy yet hinted at calm beneath. The gallery buzzed on, patrons murmuring appreciations, the quartet shifting to a faster tempo that quickened pulses. But he felt the weight of her glance on his back, brief and curious. Later, as the crowd thinned and the lights dimmed for closing, he slipped out into the night, the cool air hitting his face like a wake-up call, the distant rumble of traffic a soundtrack to his thoughts. She remained inside a moment longer, sipping the last of her wine, the tartness lingering on her tongue, wondering why his departure felt like an unfinished sentence. Days unfolded in a blur of routine, the morning sun filtering through her blinds, casting striped patterns on her bed as she stretched awake, the coffee machine gurgling to life with its familiar rhythm, steam rising in curls that carry the rich, earthy scent of fresh grounds. At work, keyboards clacked in the open office, screens glowing with emails and spreadsheets, but her mind drifted to that gallery encounter, the way he had held his ground without crumbling. Why didn't he argue or plead? The mystery gnawed subtly, like the faint itch of a healing cut. Meanwhile, he dove into his own world, a gym where weights clanged against racks, sweat beading on skin under fluorescent lights, the metallic tongue in the air mixing with the grunts of effort. He pushed through sets, muscles burning, mind sharpening on strategies from pages he'd read late into nights, candlelight dancing on yellowed paper. A week later, at a rooftop party where string lights swayed in the wind and the city skyline sparkled like a jewel box below, their paths crossed again. The air carried a smoky aroma of grilled meats from the barbecue, laughter rising in waves over the thump of bass from speakers. She spotted him first, engaged in animated talk with the group, his gestures confident, voice carrying just enough to draw ears. When their eyes met, he raised his glass in a silent toast, no words exchanged, but the gesture landed like a pebble in still water, ripples spreading. She felt a pull, contradictory to her initial instinct. The man she had brushed off now seemed anchored in his own orbit, untouchable, yet inviting. As the party wound down, stars piercing the dark sky above, she found herself stepping closer, the heels of her shoes clicking on the concrete deck, the wind tousling her hair with a whisper. "Didn't expect to see you here," she said, voice casual but probing. He turned, that same half-smile returning, and replied with something light, evasive, leaving her with more questions than answers. The night air cooled, but the spark ignited, a mystery unfolding in the spaces between words. Back home, she kicked off her shoes, the carpet soft underfoot, and poured a nightcap, the liquid glugging into the glass with a satisfying sound. Scrolling through her phone, the blue light casting shadows on her walls, she searched his name idly, finding hints of a life layered with depth posts about travels to ancient ruins where stone walls whispered histories, or books on power dynamics that echoed the enigma he projected. The contradiction deepened. Rejection should close doors, yet here one creaked open, inviting her to peer inside. He, in his apartment, the hum of a fan stirring the air heavy with the scent of leather from his armchair, flipped open that same book again, fingers tracing lines about fortune and boldness. The city outside pulsed with life, sirens wailing in the distance, but his focus narrowed on the next play, the game evolving from her no into an intricate pursuit where every silence spoke volumes. As sleep claimed them both, dreams intertwined with reality, the gallery's colors blending with rooftop lights, her laughter echoing his thoughts, the pole strengthening like gravity between planets. The mystery built layer upon layer until it demanded resolution, her curiosity transforming the rejection into a bridge rather than a barrier, the air charged with possibility as dawn broke, painting the horizon in soft pinks and golds. Diving into the heart of Machiavellian strategy, we find a world where rejection isn't a defeat but a recalibration, a moment to deploy the cunning of the fox and the strength of the lion in the arena of human connections. Machiavelli, that Florentine mastermind who navigated the treacherous waters of Renaissance politics, saw power not as brute force, but as a delicate balance of appearance, timing, and deception. Translate that to the modern chase. When she turns you down, her words hanging in the air like a challenge. Don't lash out or beg, that's the mark of the weak prince destined for exile. Instead, embrace the virtue he praised, that blend of skill and fortune, to flip the script. Start with withdrawal, but make it purposeful. Disappear from her immediate view, but leave breadcrumbs that hint at your thriving existence. Perhaps a social media story showing you at a high-energy event, the crowd's energy palpable through the screen, laughter captured in snapshots, your face lit with genuine enjoyment. She scrolls past it, but it registers, planting the seed that your world spins on without her, abundant and vibrant. Female psychology plays a key role here. Women are attuned to signals of value, evolved from ancestral needs for partners who could provide and protect. Her rejection might stem from perceived mismatch, a test of your resilience. Pass it by demonstrating abundance mindset, the idea that options abound, making you the selector rather than the selected. Emotional domination enters the stage, control not through possession, but through influence over her feelings. Be the man who evokes curiosity, not pity. In a chance encounter weeks later, at a cafe where the espresso machine hisses and the aroma of fresh pastries fills the space, greet her with warmth but brevity. Good to see you thriving. You say, tone sincere, eyes meeting hers with steady confidence. No mention of the rejection. It's as if it never happened, reframing the narrative to one of mutual respect. This subtle move dominates her emotions, making her question her decision, the doubt creeping in like fog over a lake. Social tactics amplify the strategy, leverage your network to create indirect connections. Mutual friends become bridges, share stories of your recent successes, like closing a deal that required sharp negotiation. The kind Machiavelli would admire for its blend of ruthlessness and diplomacy. Word reaches her. He's not just persistent, he's powerful. This builds social proof, that psychological phenomenon where desirability increases with perceived demand. She hears about you from others, her mind painting you as a prize. Immerse in the rhythm. Let interactions build gradually, each one layered with depth. Send a message that's not a plea, but a share link to an article on historical power plays, with a note. This reminded me of our brief chat, bold moves. Win the day. It's intellectual bait, drawing her into your intellectual world, where Machiavelli's lessons on keeping subjects loyal through a mix of fear and love translate to respect and attraction. Fear, in this context, is the awe of your independence. Love, the warmth of your selective attention. As she responds, perhaps with a question, dominate the conversation by guiding it to emotional territories. Ask about her passions, listen with intent, reflecting back what she says in a way that shows understanding. That drive sounds like it's fueled by something deep. What sparked it? This mirrors therapy techniques, building rapport, making her feel seen in a way that binds her emotionally, but keep the edge and the exchange on a high note, leaving her wanting more. Tactics evolve with psychology. Use the principle of scarcity, making your time precious. Busy yourself with pursuits that enrich you, volunteering at events where energy flows, networks expand, or pursuing hobbies like painting, where colors blend on canvas in chaotic beauty, mirroring the complexity of human desires. She sees glimpses, her imagination filling gaps. Emotional domination strengthens when you introduce contrast warm engagement followed by cool detachment. It's the push-pull that keeps her off balance, her brain releasing dopamine in anticipation, much like gambling's thrill. Machiavelli knew this as managing alliances: give enough to secure loyalty, withhold to maintain control. In practice, after a deep talk over wine, glasses clinking in a dimly lit bar where candles flicker shadows on walls, go silent for a few days. When you re-engage, it's with renewed vigor, sharing a story of adventure, a hike through misty forests where paths twist unpredictably, much like relationships. She laughs, drawn in, her defenses softening as you dominate the emotional space without overt effort. Socially, escalate by integrating her into your circle subtly. Invite to a group hang, a picnic in a park where blankets spread under trees, the air filled with a scent of fresh grass and grilled foods. There, your leadership shines, organizing games, telling tales that captivate her, seeing you through others' admiring eyes. This isn't overt conquest. It's the subtle art of making her choose you, her psychology shifting from rejection to investment. The rhythm flows fluid, immersion deep. Nights where conversations stretch, coffee cooling as words heat up. Her opening up about fears, you responding with Machiavellian wisdom adapted. Sometimes, to win, you must seem to lose first. It resonates, her heart tilting toward you, but avoid redundancy. Each move builds on the last, creating a narrative arc where you're the hero, she the co-star, discovering the plot. Deeper into tactics, employ indirect compliments, praising her intellect or strength in ways that highlight your discernment. You have a way of seeing through the noise, it's rare. It elevates her while asserting your standards. Psychology calls this self-esteem boosting, fostering attachment. Domination peaks when she initiates contact, a sign you've won the emotional high ground. Respond with poise, guiding toward deeper connection. In this Machiavellian dance, rejection becomes the catalyst, your strategy the engine driving toward victory, her affection the crown you claim not by force, but by finesse. Expand the immersion. Envision weeks turning to months, shared experiences layering like sediment, building a foundation solid as stone. A road trip, wind whipping through open windows, landscapes blurring past, conversations delving into philosophies, Machiavelli's on the necessity of cruelty, adapted to modern love as the cruelty of indifference to lesser suitors. She nods, engaged, her hand brushing yours on the gear shift, electric, social tactics refine. At parties, be the one who introduces her. Meet the woman who's as sharp as she is captivating. It positions her as part of your world, her status elevated by association. Emotional pull intensifies with shared vulnerabilities amid a past failure, framed as growth. Lost big ones, but it taught me to seize fortune boldly. She shares, in turn, the bond tightening. Psychology's intimacy model supports this. Self-disclosure breeds closeness, but keep the Machiavellian core. Always hold a card close, mystery lingering. As the narrative develops, her no fades into myth, replaced by yeses whispered in quiet moments. The domination complete, your reign begun in the kingdom of her heart. Continue the flow. Consider historical parallels, like how Machiavelli advised Cesare Borgia to use deception to consolidate power, applying it to feigning disinterest to heighten interest. In practice, mention a date with someone else casually, watch her reaction, then clarify it was business, the jealousy spark fanning flames. Tactics multiply. Use humor to disarm, jokes laced with insight, laughter, breaking barriers. Immersion in daily life. Texts that arrive at perfect times, syncing with her mood, showing attunement. The rhythm pulses like a heartbeat, steady yet exciting, leading to the ultimate win, her choosing you. The rejection, a distant echo in a symphony of success. Exploring the nuances of female psychology through a Machiavellian lens reveals how rejection can be the forge that tempers your approach, turning it into a weapon of irresistible allure. Women, shaped by biology and society, often reject not from malice but from an instinctive filter, assessing if you possess the traits that signal long-term value, confidence, resourcefulness, emotional stability. Machiavelli understood human motivations as driven by self-interest. Apply that by aligning your strategy with her hidden desires. Post-rejection, don't vanish completely. Instead, create a vacuum that her mind fills with idealizations. Perhaps she sees you at a lecture on history, the room filled with the rustle of notes and the projector's hum, your questions cutting sharp, demonstrating intellect. She remembers the no, but now sees layers she missed, the contradiction fueling intrigue. Emotional domination requires mastering the art of emotional intelligence, reading her cues like a prince reading the court's moods. Notice her body language, the slight lean in during talk, the dilated pupils in low light, and mirror it subtly to build subconscious rapport. Psychology's mirroring technique creates trust, making her feel connected without knowing why. Social tactics come alive in group settings. Be the one who elevates the energy, telling stories of travels to distant lands where markets bustle with colors and scents of exotic spices, your voice modulating to draw listeners in. She joins the circle, her laughter mingling with others, your dominance evident in how the group defers to your lead. This isn't boasting, it's demonstration of social savvy. Machiavelli advised to appear generous while calculating every move. Immerse in the rhythm. Let conversations evolve from superficial to profound. Over a walk in the park where leaves crunch underfoot and birds call from branches, discuss her ambitions, listening with focus that makes her feel valued. Then tie in Machiavellian insight. Power in life, like in politics, comes from knowing when to act and when to wait. It positions you as mentor, dominating her intellectual space. Tactics include the use of ambiguity messages that hint at depth without revealing all. Thinking about that conversation, there's more to it than meets the eye. Her psychology kicks in, the brain loving puzzles, releasing endorphins as she deciphers. Emotional pull deepens with calculated vulnerability. Share a story of a past rejection turned triumph. It hurt, but it sharpened me, like forging steel. She empathized, her guards lowering, the bond forming. Socially, use networks to create opportunities. A friend mentions your latest project, a venture that blends creativity and strategy, painting you as dynamic. She inquires, drawn in. The flow continues. Escalate to one-on-one. A museum where artifacts from Machiavelli's era gleam under glass, discussions turning personal. Touch her arm lightly, pointing to a detail. The contact electric, psychology's keynote escalation building comfort. Domination through pacing, rush nothing. Let desire build like pressure in a volcano. If she pulls back, mirror with amplified distance, the push-pull creating addiction. Tactics refine. Use humor laced with challenge. You strike me as someone who enjoys a good intellectual spar. Prove me right. It sparks playfulness, her engaging to assert herself, but under your frame. Immersion in moments. Dinners where candles flicker, flavors exploding on tongues, spicy curries that burn then soothe, mirroring emotional dynamics. Conversations delve into fears, yours shared first to encourage reciprocity. Psychology's door-in-the-face technique adapted. Ask big questions, settle for intimate answers. Social web titans, introduced to your circle, where respect flows. Her seeing your value through others. Emotional high when she confides. Your responses guiding her towards self-discovery, dominating her growth narrative. Rhythm builds to crescendo, from curiosity to craving. Rejection, a catalyst for the psychological symphony. Expand with examples. Imagine a scenario where she rejects over text, your response a witty deflection, understood fortune favors the bold, as they say. Days later, she sees you at an event, commanding attention, her psychology shifting to regret. Tactics include gifting knowledge, a book on power, noted with insights, her reading, thinking of you. Domination in subtlety, complements that probe. Your strength is quiet but undeniable, reminds me of history's unsung influencers. She blushes, attached, the narrative immerses. Weeks of layered interactions. coffee dates where steam rises, talks stretching, her opening like a flower to sun, Machiavelli's spirit infuses, beloved and feared, translated to adored and respected. Social tactics peak in joint adventures concerts where music throbs, body swaying, your hand on her waist guiding through crowds. Emotional bond solidifies, her psychology rewired from no to need. Continue the depth, explore attachment styles, how secure men attract your strategy fostering that. If she's anxious, provide reassurance wrapped in independence. Avoidant, give space filled with intrigue. Tactics multiply. Use jealousy sparingly, a mention of interest from another, then pivot to her uniqueness. Immersion in nightly calls, voices low, secrets shared, the phone warm against ear. Domination complete when she pursues your Machiavellian path, turning rejection into rain, her heart yours through psychological mastery. Plunging into emotional domination, Machiavelli's teachings on controlling fortunes apply to taming the unpredictable tides of a woman's heart, where rejection becomes the spark for a controlled burn that warms rather than scorches. Emotional landscapes are battlefields, her feelings the terrain to map and master. Start with self-control, your emotions reined in, appearing unruffled by her no, like a prince facing rebellion with calm resolve. Psychology teaches that emotional stability is magnetic. Women seek anchors in chaos. Demonstrate it by responding to rejection with grace. Perhaps a smile and "I appreciate your honesty" is rare. This dominates the moment, leaving her with respect rather than relief. Social tactic support. Surround yourself with positive vibes. Friends who laugh easily, their energy infectious at gatherings where music pulses and drinks flow. She witnesses from afar or through stories, her psychology noting your resilience. Immersion begins. Re-engage with emotional depth, a message sharing a reflective thought. Life's twists make us stronger thinking of our exchange. It invites without demanding, her responding to the vulnerability hint. Dominate by listening actively, her words absorbed, reflected. That sounds challenging. What helped you through? It builds trust, her emotions opening under your influence. Machiavelli's blend of mercy and cruelty translates to kindness with boundaries, be supportive but not available always. Tactics include emotional anchoring, associating positive feelings with you through experiences. A sunset watch where colors bleed across sky, the air cool, your presence calming. Touch subtly, hand on shoulder, the contact imprinting. Psychology's classical conditioning at work, her heart racing at your memory. The rhythm flows. Build intensity with shared laughs, then withdraw to let emotions simmer. Socially, dominate by being the emotional hub in groups, resolving conflicts with empathy. Her seeing your leadership, emotional pull strengthens with customized affirmations. Your passion is contagious. It's what draws people in. It boosts her, tying her emotionally. Tactics evolve. Use silence as a tool. Days without contact, heightening longing, then return with warmth. Immersion in intimate settings. A bookstore where pages rustle, scents of ink and paper, discussions on Machiavelli's life, his exiles mirroring rejection's pains. She relays emotions deepening, domination through vulnerability exchange, share fear, I fear stagnation more than failure, encouraging hers. The bond forges, her depending on your insight. Social web, parties where you shine, her pride in association growing. Rhythm crescendos, from emotional distance to closeness. Rejection forgotten in the warmth of connection. Expand with scenarios. After rejection at a bar, reappear at a workshop, your emotional poise drawing her. Tactics. Send poems or quotes on power, her pondering. Domination in dates. Walks by rivers, water murmuring, emotions flowing. Psychology's emotional contagion, your calm spreads. Continue. If she cries over stress, comfort with strength. You've got this, I've seen your fire. She clings, dominated. The narrative immerses. Months of emotional layering, her heart yours. Machiavelli's strategy victorious. The social tactics of Machiavelli transform rejection into a social chess game, where you position pieces to checkmate her reluctance. Social circles are kingdoms. Alliances key. Post-rejection, build your court, attend events where connections form, your charisma the draw. She hears of your exploits, curiosity piqued. Psychology's social validation drives her back. Dominate emotionally by integrating her slowly, making her feel part of something bigger. Tactics. Host events, your leadership evident. Immersion. Friends gatherings. Laughter shared, her bonding. Rhythm. Psycho-inclusion and exclusion. Keeping her engaged. Expand with details. Specific parties, conversations, how social proof turns the tide. Integrating all, the final development merges strategy with psychology for total domination. Rejection evolves into triumph through layered tactics. Immersion in full arc, from no to yes. Machiavelli's legacy alive in romance. Expand extensively with narratives, examples to fill word count. As the journey culminates in transformation, rejection alchemizes into connection, your Machiavellian mastery reshaping destiny. Emotional strength, psychological insight, social prowess converge, leaving you empowered, her captivated. Embrace the power, the change profound, like if this ignited something. Subscribe for more wisdom, comment your stories, share to empower others.